Hello, Internet. My name is Roro, and welcome to my channel. Today, I wanted to talk about political opinions, when I choose to share them, and when I choose to keep them private. So, let's get right into it. Enough people have asked me about this where I felt like it was worth making a video. So, just to get it right out in the open, this is my political compass result. For anyone who doesn't know, it's a test that you can take to kind of gauge where you're at politically. And as you can see, I'm pretty deep into the bottom left corner. With this result, I don't consider myself a leftist. I don't consider myself anything really in the scope of politics because I don't think, for me personally, subscribing to an already laid out plan for your thoughts, I don't think that's ever a good idea, especially in the context of politics, because politics is the space that people are easily manipulated and benefit the people that are in power the most by being manipulated, if that makes sense. And in political conversations, there's always so much cognitive dissonance that people don't even realize that is happening. For example, a person who would identify as a leftist, they are probably thinking in their heads that they don't fuck with, the government, they don't fuck with the state, they don't fuck with capitalism, they don't fuck with the current state of society, but they're identifying as something that's in the context of the society still. And if you fall out of line with that way of thinking, they're going to hold that against you. So they're not thinking for themselves. They're just adopting an identity that they have deemed is what is needed to get out of the world that we live in currently, or something like that. And people that normally tend to gravitate towards the right, they will tell you that they're thinking for themselves and that they do their own research, but all of their beliefs seem to perfectly line up with like the right and Republicans in America. So already off the bat, it's a disingenuous conversation that's being had. And all it's doing is making people cave into their emotions and stop listening in conversation, which is exactly what is beneficial, again, to the people that are in power. Because if we have actual conversations and listen to each other, there's a chance that we will figure out the shit that's happening that's bullshit. But if we just stop thinking, let a group of people or an identity or a label think for us, then we don't have to worry about any of this stuff, and we can just live our lives with a label and not have to actually think critically about what's happening in our surroundings. And another question that people will always ask is, all right, well, if you don't think this is working, then what's your solution? What do you think should be happening that's going to magically fix all the problems in the world? And nobody has that answer. Nobody actually believes that there's a solution that's just going to magically fix everything, because humans are imperfect. There's never going to be a perfect society. It's not possible. But what I do know is that capitalism and American culture creates this thought process on all sides of the political spectrum, except for like maybe the edges of both sides, where you can't even have a conversation. You can't even question what's happening because it's just the way it is. But it's not the way it is. This country has only existed for a couple hundred years. There's nations that have existed for years and years and, literally thousands and thousands of years that have changed or haven't changed. So to think that what we're doing in America, it just is the way it is, it's just stupid, especially because the country that we live in is a result of a brutal genocide of the Native Americans who lived here and still live here. And that's still going on, so this whole shit is fucked up. Everybody knows it. And I think that having conversations about it is really important, but I just don't think that they need to happen publicly, which is why I don't feel like I want politics to be part of my identity online, because the only real benefit to doing that is if you're trying to make money and grift. And I understand the need for people to want to know what's happening in the world, but think about it this way. When something horrible happens in America, no matter what side of the political spectrum you're on as a commentator, you're going to make money off of it. And I would never want to put myself in that position morally where people are waiting for me to comment on something that's happening and that be part of my identity as a content creator. That's just not something that I morally feel like is a good thing to do. And that's just my perspective and my personal choice as somebody who's choosing to share their voice online. So yeah, I don't want to make this video too long, but I would just encourage people to take a look at what's happening in the world. Take a look at what's happening in your local community. Take a look at what's happening in your country and really try to think for yourself how you feel about the situation. You don't have to figure out a solution or whatever, but just try to think outside of an ideology, because I think ideology is so rampant in today's world that we don't even know that it's happening. Like, subscribing to an ideology is just so normal that it doesn't even seem like it could potentially be bad. So really try to think for yourself and not let other people think for you. That's it for this video. I'll see you guys next week.